Welcome to Adobe Live. We have UI UX Design Week. My name is Melody. I'm going to be your host, and I'm here with Camille Brito.
Hi.
Yay. So excited to have you here.
Yes, I'm so excited as well.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun. We have a lot of great designers this week. Let's quickly take a look at the schedule so we can see what we have going on. We do have an XD Daily Creative Challenge happening, and we have Howard at 8:30 a.m. showing you a quick tutorial for the day's challenge. And then at 9 we had Erica hosted by me, and then at 11 we had John with Howard, and then at 1 we have Camille with me again. So this will be the schedule today, tomorrow, and Thursday, and it's going to be an awesome week. I'm really excited. Hello to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. We have Felix, Madbul, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, and Val, Voodoo Val, hello. If you're in the chat, we are doing a chat and win giveaway in about 30 minutes. So if you have any design questions that you want to ask Camille, she's an expert in design strategy.
Yes.
So she'll help you if you have any questions about that. We'd love to answer them. If you're active in the chat, you have a chance to win 100 free stickers from Sticker Mule, which is an awesome prize. So if you have any designs that you want to be printed on a sticker, that's a great opportunity to do that. You just have to be active in the chat to win. And then we are also doing challenge reviews at the end of our stream. So if you've been working on the XD Daily Creative Challenge and you want to get some feedback on your designs, definitely submit that. It's a great opportunity, especially if you're a beginner and you want live feedback on your work. It's a great way to show that. So if we switch to my screen really fast, I can show you guys. So if you go to behance.net/daily creative challenge, you can get an overview and sign up. So I already signed up. It says you have already registered, but you can sign up so you can get notifications and reminders about the challenges. And there's a quick overview, and you can get XD for free if you don't have XD already, which is awesome. And then if you haven't joined our Slack channel, you should definitely do that, because you can also submit your designs on there, and we have great mentors that give you feedback as well. So if you don't want to submit it live, you can submit it on the Slack channel. And then these are the challenges that we have so far. So we're on day 6. And today is subscribe and save. So it's designing an experience where a user can subscribe to a product and save money over time, which is awesome.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
So, and I think what I like about this week's, or this design challenges is that they give you kind of research information for each prompt for each day. So it's really nice. Before it was like design this page, but now you have a little more context on what you're designing. So I think that's really nice. And yeah, so if you are working on that, you can submit it and we can give you feedback, and that'll be in about an hour and 30 minutes. And you can get started with a template, and Howard has done great videos. You can watch them to get started and get ideas. So yeah, I'm excited to see what everyone comes up with. We had some great designs earlier in the stream this morning. So let's turn it over to Camille, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what we're going to be working on.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Camille. I'm a UX design strategist. So like Melody said, I'm more on the strategy side. I work a lot on research and understanding our users. So similar to what you were saying about the subscribe and saves challenge, there's always information that you need to take into consideration before you go into design. So my role is usually more on that side. And then I usually pass it on to some other designer and collaborate with them. And the whole point of it is to really understand the user needs, to find opportunities to provide those moments and features that are embellishing or enhancing the experience. And also solving for those like real problems that people have with usability. Sometimes it's problems with technology, sometimes it's problems with content. So it's a lot of research, a lot of client interaction. It's really, really fun. It's a lot of thinking. Thinking a lot is definitely tiring, but it's something that I love. I enjoy a lot. My background is in design, media, and business, so it's kind of a mix, and I think that just like led me to have this bigger, better understanding of the different aspects of a product. So actually today I'll be sharing a product idea that I have with you. So it's very early stage on like the design portion of it, but what I wanted to do is actually show you a little bit of the research that goes before starting to design. And I would love to just like get everyone's feedback on what you think of the product. It is a business idea I've been working on. So
Nice. Cool.
I've been working on this business plan with a friend of mine. I just finished an MBA in design strategy, and this person went to this MBA course with me. So
nice.
yeah,
So it's like a joint project that you guys are working on.
Yes. So the whole idea of bringing it here today is that one of the things you learn is that you can have a great business idea, but if it's not focused on your user, if it's not really providing a real useful product, then it might fail. So this is a great opportunity for me to prototype something to see if it's valuable. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Should I just jump in?
So what kind of product are you going to be working on?
So today I'll be working on this product that is an art subscription. And the idea came from the fact that, well, I did interior design for a couple of years. And one thing that a lot of people don't notice is that we tend to get really tired of our own homes very easily. It just happens every 6 months, every year. You one day come to your house and you're like, okay, I don't like this anymore. So I started realizing that the house where you live is actually really, in today's world where like everything's so hectic and people are moving so much and maybe changing from one job to the other, the house really becomes that place where you find yourself. It's your temple, and artwork really allows you to just express yourself. So that's why I'm creating this. I'm seeing some questions about the MBA. So I went to the California College of the Arts as an MBA in design strategy, which is amazing. I absolutely recommend it. Yeah, so that's the product. It's called Nouveau.
Ooh.
I would love feedback on the name.
Oh yeah, if you guys have any ideas of what we could name it. I love hearing. You guys have the best ideas for the cat names, so definitely let us know.
Yeah. I think it's like when you start a product or an idea, you like get fixated on a name. Yeah. And then you just like take it to people and they're like, that doesn't really like resonate with me. So yeah, happy to just get some feedback.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so I'll just start with a little bit of the information that we've worked on so far about the product. And the reason I want to share this with you is because, like I said, my job is more on the strategy side. So I want you to understand why I'm doing things. And the process, the next 3 days, we'll be doing a little bit of wireframing, understanding the experience, and then I'll move on more to the design side, the styles, and that will allow you to understand, if you know the strategy behind it, so the tone of the brand, if you understand why we're doing this, I think it's easier to just like find opportunities to make it better.
Exactly.
Yeah, so hopefully like we can go through maybe like creating just an early prototype, and then you guys can help me just be like, hey, since your user said this, maybe you should add this feature. So yeah, collaboration, guys. So the problem statement, knowing that this is a marketplace. So the idea is that this business is connecting artists with people that want art in their homes. So this being a marketplace, the problem statement for the customer, so the person looking for art, is that homeowners don't know how to purchase art. And one of the things that we would love to do long term with the vision for this company is to help them learn about art. Because art investment is a thing that we all know exists, but very few people actually know how to go about it.
Yeah, I have no idea how to do that.
So they want a home with personality, but don't have the money to afford an art dealer to help them with it, nor do they have the connections to the emerging art scene. A lot of people are lucky enough to have a friend that's like this cool artist, cool illustrator, and that's their way in. But that's not always the case. Then for home renters, so there's two sides of this group audience segment. The home renters don't really feel ready to commit to artwork, given that they have yet to decide where they will settle down. And in the meantime, they want their homes to reflect their homes, yeah, to reflect their styles and to feel as unique as possible. So that is the problem statement. I wonder, like, do you feel like that's something that you would identify with?
Yeah, because I've like rented apartments in the past, and something that like in certain apartments they're like, don't put any thumbtacks in the walls or don't do any damage. And I don't know if that's like, that's probably just like my experience that they were really strict with that. So I'd have to think about ways I could display art, because I love art and I think it just really makes the difference in your home, and it's like nice to look at and everything. So I would like get like prints and then tape them, or like posters or something, and there's like a sticky tape. And so yeah, I think definitely if you're renting, it's hard to commit to something, especially if it's expensive. Like art can be really expensive.
Yeah.
And you might not know, what do I want to invest in? And especially if you're in that early stage of like renting, I think this would be a really great way to help people kind of ease into committing to an art piece for life.
Yeah.
Which sounds kind of intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just using you for user research right
this
now.
This is like live user
yes,
research.
Live user research. Committing to art is, what did you say?
Intimidating.
Intimidating. Yeah, great. So actually, like, I'll take the time to. I don't know how to write, guys.
XD has autocorrect, which is great.
Yes. See, a great moment to show a cute little feature.
Yeah.
So one of the things I'll say is that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to work on the research side of the products they're creating, and obviously, like, every team will have their different ways of collaborating and of creating their like solutions.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer of the more you know about the product, the better. So conducting research is a huge part of it. And what we just did, this was obviously like a tiny section of it. That's something that's qualitative research. And that just gives you an idea of what do people need? What is their tone? Even when they're talking about things, it's not only about what they're saying, it's about how they're saying it.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah, and it's always like really great to just learn to listen. I think as a society we've like stopped listening.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, it's a good opportunity to just sit down, even if you have a product idea, a project, anything, like a prototype, just like show it to some of your friends and just tell them like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think this is? If it's for a brand that exists, ask how credible you think they think it is. Because sometimes you might have a great product and then the brand doesn't really align with it. And those are the moments where people will maybe make a face and you're like, okay, what does that face mean? So yeah, okay, great. So I'll go back to
Cartier is saying Netflix, but for art. You hold on to the painting for a certain amount of time.
Yes,
that's a good
exactly.
idea.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
There's always opportunities to come up with new business ideas by merging two other business ideas. So the problem statement for the artist is that actually the number of galleries have been closing a lot lately. There's more gallery closings than openings right now.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's happened. Yeah, it's very sad. And part of the reason for it is that from research, obviously I don't know how everyone feels, but from research we've discovered that a lot of people just feel intimidated by galleries. They feel like they walk into this place and they just feel like they don't belong.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's one of the things we want to overcome. So that is one of the problem statements for the artist, because the artist might not know where to go to show their art.
Yeah.
And then basically, yeah, just the art industry needs to find new channels of communication and adapt to new consumer behaviors. So like just trying to find opportunities with some of the things that we know about new audiences like millennials, liking experiences, and a lot of customization, making it through to a lot of the businesses we interact with now. So yeah, that's it. Also, I'll say I'm originally from Venezuela, so English is not my first language. I'll just please be kind, just as a side note. So, company purpose. For the art lovers, stay-at-home city dwellers in the country, for those that aspire to have a home with personality, for those that desire the validation that comes with exclusive artwork without the commitment of investment. So that's our company purpose. Nouveau is the art subscription that brings rotating exhibitions to your home. So one of the interesting things about this is that as we started developing this product, we realized that the model already exists for galleries. So this is how galleries function. They will get artwork from the artist, well, some galleries, and they will display it for maybe a couple of months and then
rotate it.
It, ship it back to another gallery. This is the same for museums. That's why you'll see like a rotating exhibition, something comes to your city. So, yeah. So the current situation, this is what people are dealing with right now are either empty walls or is the people that just don't know how to address it and they're like, okay, I'll just leave my art, my home without art. There's a lot of uninformed investment, so people thinking, oh, maybe this will be a great art investment, and maybe
it's not.
Yeah, maybe it's not. And a lot of unoriginal prints from not all online marketplaces. A lot of the online marketplaces that, let's call them our competitors, have a lot of great stuff. And I think like if you're an illustrator, it's a great way to get your art out there. But sometimes like some like furniture shops will sell art as well. And it's just, you know that you might go to someone else's house and they'll have the same.
Yeah, like IKEA.
Yeah.
I love IKEA, but
yeah,
I've
that
seen
happens.
It's the same like posters or prints in multiple places.
Yeah.
So I think someone that maybe wants something unique that someone, like not anyone else has probably in their home.
Exactly. So, and then the problem of the static interior design, like we were saying, that a lot of people just like feel great about their house for 3 months, 6 months, and then after a while they're like, okay, I want to change this.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot more information about the industry, but maybe we won't get in detail about it unless someone asks. And then the thing I'll say is if you work in UX, you probably are familiar with the concept of personas. So I don't know if you work with personas.
Yeah. I've done some personas while I was in school and then on like side projects as well.
Yeah, so personas are a great opportunity to put a face to your audiences. And the reason we do this is to just always try and have a little empathy for the person interacting with your product, because they might not think of the interface the way you're designing it. So they might not know where to go, and it's always good to have them there so that when you're designing, you always like go back to your personas and you like ask yourself like, would I know where to find this information? So I really recommend using them as a tool to design.
What kind of research do you do to come up with your different personas, and how do you know how many personas to have on a project?
Okay, that's a great question. And it's a question we get very often when you're doing UX research. So the type of research that we do really depends. It depends on the time that you have. Sometimes products need to get launched like really soon, or you need to be like prototyping fast. So you might not have the time. I would say try and do different types of research, and I'll go through some different methodologies and have them inform the next phase. Because like that's the way you like really start getting more information and like finding what we call those like aha moments that you're like, oh, okay, more than 7 people have said the exact same thing. Maybe it means something.
Important.
So we do surveys. Surveys are a great way to get some ideas out there and just people like just give you information about who they are. It's also helpful like if you're thinking of creating a product that you're gonna like pitch to an investor or someone to say like this is what we learned about our audiences, and also think of how are you gonna make money out of this. So like knowing your audience is a great opportunity for you to like find maybe advertisement opportunities. product placement opportunities, so things like that. So surveys, what I tend to do is at the end of a survey, I'll say we will be doing more research. If you're interested in helping us out and would be willing to do a 30-minute call with us, let us know.
Ooh, I like that. I think that's a good idea to add at the end of a survey, because surveys are like pretty quick compared to like an interview. And I feel like you can reach more people with surveys, and then those few people that would be interested in helping out, I think that's a great way to kind of grab them at the end of the survey.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of get more out of them.
And I think you bring a great point, which is you should always keep your surveys short. Don't go ahead and ask like a million questions. I think like 15 is way too much. Try and have 10 questions. If you're sending it to a lot of people, the questions tend to be more close-ended. So like if you're trying to get qualitative findings, so like real great quotes, then leave them open-ended. Which means you create your survey and just like leave a comment box for them to like write what they think. If not, just like ask them to like choose like a specific option from different rated buttons. So and then as far as the number of personas, it depends. I work a lot with, for example, higher ed clients, and there's different audiences that you need to consider. So there's, for example, the prospective student, and then there's the existing student, and then there's the parent, and then there's
That's
the...
true.
Yeah, so think of those big groups. I tend to create an ecosystem of everyone that that interacts with the brand. So if you pick any, like for example, like let's pick Adobe, like you have the people that interact with specific software, and then you have the people that are creators, and you have the people that work at Adobe, then you have the people that maybe heard of it, but like don't really know what they do. So you create that vision, and then you like identify which personas you're gonna be working on. In business, we always say like if you're trying to create a product that's for everyone, then it's probably not gonna work. You have to like narrow it down.
There's definitely always an audience for what you're creating.
So try to like be mindful of that. I go with 3 to 5 personas maximum.
We have a question from Nick. Do you usually keep all of this info in the design doc or elsewhere?
Okay, well, yeah, that's a great question. The amount of research that I would usually do would like require a lot of like notes and findings and things. So no, I usually don't keep it in the design document. But what I do is I just kind of summarize everything in design criteria. So once I went through all of the research, I just try and find those like opportunities to say like, okay, my product needs to be, I don't know, like needs to provide safety. My product needs to just like make people feel at home. So those are the things that maybe like 5 to 10 design criteria, because that way if you have it right next to your design, every time you kind of go through like a flow, you have like even just like 5 screens, you can go back to your design criteria and tell yourself, okay, am I actually hitting on those ones?
Yeah, I think that's good.
But keep all of the information in another document because
it can be too overwhelming to have all of that information next to your designs.
Definitely.
I think it's good that you have like the highlighted parts that you want to remember throughout your design workflow. So that's good.
It's helpful, yeah, definitely. So then one of the things I like always do as well is I'll think of the desired experience. And the reason I kind of wanted to like just show you this is UX, as you know, is user experience, but what are we talking about when we say experience? What is it? Like, what is this experience? Is it the interaction with an app? Is it the interaction with a brand? And I think overall in design strategy, you'll learn that it comes down to the fact that everyone wants a bigger experience, a bigger meaning out of what they're doing. So every time we buy something, we're actually doing it because we want something in return. So what are those things that we want in return? And that's the same for anything in life, like relationships, conversations at work. Like there's a desired experience. You might be going to talk to your coworker, asking for something. This is a good opportunity for the UX researchers out there to be like, okay, why is this person coming to me? What is their desired experience?
That's a good way of putting it. I've never thought about it that way, but
yeah.
That's awesome.
So the ones I have here are from one of my absolute favorite books, which is called Making Meaning. And there's a list of 15 experiences that exist. So I would recommend for any product that you're creating, just focus on 2, maximum 3 experiences. Like we said, you can't be hitting on all audiences and you can't be hitting on all experiences. So the experiences I have here are accomplishment, achieving goals, and making something of oneself, a sense of satisfaction that can result from productivity, focus, talent, or status. And I didn't write these are from the book. Then the second experience that people want from Nouveau, from our art platform, is beauty, the appreciation of qualities that give pleasure to the senses or spirit. And then the last one is creation, the sense of having produced something new and original, and in doing so, to have made a lasting contribution. So the reason I picked creation, it's actually really interesting. I started doing some interviews with people, and I realized that it wasn't so much about having art on the walls for people, it's about creating that perfect, cohesive, unique environment. So people started telling me, well, I don't know, because I would pick one painting based on the other painting.
Oh, I see.
Because I wanted to create a little
a gallery wall.
Yeah, exactly. So that's also part of what we want to provide to users. It's an opportunity to create their own canvas for their own gallery.
Yes.
Great.
We had a question about do the surveys actually work, and is there a certain service provider that gives you the information when you're doing user surveys?
Okay. So the question, do they actually work? I would say yes. But obviously it depends. I think one of the I work at a web design agency, and one of the questions we always get from clients is this statistically significant? Ooh. No, it isn't. We are not doing, it's not research, a scientific research project. And I would love to have an opportunity to work for a client that can do that. And obviously the more people you can talk to, the better. But think also of the segments you're speaking to. So just think of sampling. So maybe, like I said, for higher education, try and get a little bit of people answering your survey that are prospective students, and a few of them that are current students, and a few of them that are faculty. And you don't need to be surveying, asking everyone in a university, but as long as you have a good representation of each segment, you're in a good position. And that's actually how surveys are done at a much bigger level. Obviously when we do polls and things like that, you can't be asking everyone in the United States.
Too difficult.
So that's something that obviously you have to keep in mind. As far as the medium, I will say that one of the limitations of surveys is that you have to get a person to the survey. So think of your audience. Maybe if you're dealing with older audiences that aren't that used to answering surveys on a computer, it might not be the best way. We do also what we call intercepts. So you go to a place where you might find people that are within your audience segment and just ask them.
That's so cool. That's like guerrilla usability testing.
Yeah.
Or user testing. Oh, it's chat and win time.
Yay!
Yay! So everyone in the chat, if you have asked a question, you have been entered to win 100 free stickers from Sticker Mule. And if you haven't said something in the chat, now is the perfect time. Maybe you guys can let us know your favorite artist, if you have any favorite artists or designers that you really like.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
I'd be interested to know. So type away, let us know, and we will be right back. Yay, we're back. Okay, let's see. We did have some questions. What was the book that you mentioned where you got the experiences from?
So
you can mention that one more time.
It's called Making Meaning. It's by Nathan Shedroff and Steve Diller.
Ooh. I definitely want to check that book out.
Yes, it's amazing. I like swear by it.
Nice. We have Kees Van Dongen, The Future. Oh, I love The Future's YouTube channel, Christo. He has great videos. Jesse Showalter. Nice. Hello to the chat. Jennifer, Lindsay, Devad, June, and Felix. Oh, we have a winner. Cartier Gates. Yay, you have a cool name. Congratulations! Cool name. Yay! So you're gonna win 100 free custom stickers from Sticker Mule, and you can submit your design and then have that printed out on stickers, which is amazing. So if you did not win, you can still get 10 stickers for $1, which is an awesome deal. If you go to the link up there, stickermule.com/Adobe Live 19, and get some awesome stickers. And yeah, so thank you to everyone in the chat for participating.
Yeah.
Yay. You'll have more opportunities to win tomorrow or Thursday during our streams if you did not win. So yay, we can head back to your screen.
Yes, okay, great. So we have some quotes here from Melody. She gave us some great quotes earlier. And if anyone in the chat wants to tell us about their experience buying art, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, let us know if you have bought art for your house or if you're renting, what that's like.
Yeah.
Let us know.
So about surveys, I'm actually going to show you a few answers we got for our survey.
Nice.
It was only, we had 60 respondents, which is better than nothing. I think I'm happy at 100, but 60 was a good start. The service provider I used for this was SurveyMonkey. I know someone asked, but there's a lot of different
There's a Google one.
Yeah, Google is great. There's a lot of different providers. So one of the things we asked is, have you bought any art in the past year, including wall art and posters for you or your partner's home? So we just started trying to understand how often people buy art, and 65% said yes, 35% said no. So that to us means that there's an opportunity to serve this audience segment of people that said no, that maybe don't have the time to be buying art constantly. But if they had a service that like send them like a selection, they would be able to have it in their own homes. So when we speak of art, which is actually something which that was interesting, what are we talking about? We started with this idea with my friend, and we're like, okay, we want to do art subscription. And people started saying like, but like, what do you mean art? Like, what kind of art? So we started asking people what type of art they have on at home. Around 15% had collector art, which was surprising.
That seems like a lot of people.
Yeah, I know. But then that's also a great, we didn't do a follow-up question, but I would usually go to the survey, filter the people that answer that, and see if any of those said that they would do a follow-up interview with us.
Oh, interesting.
And that way I would talk to them and ask them how they found out about this artist, to really know if what they have is of value. Like, did they make a conscious decision, or did they buy something hoping that it is collector art? So that's something we haven't done yet. And so, well, we look forward to that. Part of the reason I'm creating this today is to have a prototype, so that when we do interviews, we can send that to the people we're interviewing and asking them to react to that. Then we had around 20% that had sculptures. We had 45% of people that had photography. So it's cut off here, but one of the things we asked is, when we mean photography, it's not the photos of your own wedding or the photos of your children, not depicting personal memories.
So like someone else's photography.
Yes, exactly. Posters and illustration. Illustration is definitely on the rise. There's a lot of great illustrators out there.
I have some. I just bought some prints from illustrators. I went to the Emerald City Comic Con a few weeks ago in Seattle, and there were so many talented artists, and I was like in awe, and it was amazing. There's just, I love them.
It is incredible. I love to just like go like sit down and start going through like some of the illustration art on
so
Behance
nice.
and stuff like that. It's just like
it's amazing.
Get
I wish I
up.
could do that.
I know. Definitely not my talent. We all have different talents. But, then we asked how much does a person spend on an art piece and frame on average? And the reason to do this, I think it's really important for designers to also think of the product or the service that a person is going to be getting. And the reason for that is because when you're creating an experience, maybe that will influence the tone and the style of what you're creating. If a person needs to be paying €5,000 for $5,000 for the product, then maybe that requires a different type of fonts and colors. It needs to be a little bit more elegant. So it's things that you should consider, even though like you might not be involved in the pricing strategy. But obviously this is also an opportunity for us to know how much people are spending to make sure we're creating a product.
Yeah, it's like valuable information to have.
Yeah.
We have a question from Osama. During the extensive research process, do you by any chance use multiple regression to predict behavior or expected attitude towards the brand or of the product?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
Yeah, what do you mean by multiple regression? I'm not sure exactly what that means. If you want to elaborate on that question, please let us know.
Great. So we also asked about the rooms that a person has in their home. So how many rooms do they have? And I think one of the reasons why this is important to the design and to the interface is we wanted to understand how specific we needed to get with picking rooms on the onboarding of the app, because maybe like I made the assumption that I would want that for like maybe my bedroom or like a living room, but maybe people want to use the service to put art in different areas of their home. So
what about like bathrooms?
That's actually a great point. Yeah. I didn't think of that originally, but then I was looking at like 4 rooms or more. I wonder if they're counting bathrooms.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, dang, who has 4 rooms in their house?
Yeah,
that's a lot.
So my guess is the people that said 4 rooms or more are counting the bathroom and kitchen. And actually,
like the kitchen too.
Yeah. I think there's a great opportunity to really make your home more unique by adding artwork in those areas that are less expected, like the kitchen and the bathroom, because like that's
a nice surprise. If you walk into someone's bathroom and they have cool art on the wall, it's like, oh, this is nice.
Definitely. I usually do like the user journey before I design anything or like I think of a product. And I think if you're thinking of the journey of a person coming to visit your house, I think that nice surprise like happens in the moments you expected the least. Like you're expecting the living room to be like gorgeous. But then maybe you like go to the bathroom or a tiny hallway and you're like, wow, this is a really cool painting. So those are the opportunities to really create like gain creators for the experience.
Hi, Erica. Erica was just on this morning. Yay. And she said that she has an art piece in her bathroom.
Great.
Awesome. Yay.
So we also asked about living situation. So who lives alone or who shares their house. And you'll see one of the screens I wanted to create is having people identify who they live with.
Oh, okay.
Because like that might influence the decision of the art subscription you get. Maybe you need to get someone to approve it. So actually, I just thought of that.
I was thinking like, because if you live with someone else, they might not have the same like art sense that you do or like the same taste in art. And maybe they're like, I don't like that piece in my bathroom or something.
Exactly. So. Actually, let's make a note of that. I'm going to go to my design criteria, and it might not be the most important one, but we need to make sure that there's feature to send the art selection to a friend. Could be
I think
like
that's
your
good to add.
roommate. Yeah. So then we asked currently how often do they change the decor or wall art in their house, and most of them couldn't remember the last time they did. So that could be a bad sign for us. That could be like, oh no, maybe this isn't a good idea at all. That's why it would require additional research and interviews, trying to understand like, is that something that you would want to do? A lot of people might not be doing it because they don't have an offering that allows them to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a good thing.
Yeah, and I feel like once you move into a new place, you're kind of in that mindset of decorating your apartment or house or your room. And so you're kind of like, oh, I'm going to buy art. And then after you're like moved in and you're like decorated, but for me, I feel like I'm never fully decorated. Like I'll get started, I'm like, okay, I'll finish this sometime, and then I'll get into my routine, and then I'll forget, or it's not like a priority on my list anymore. So maybe that could be one reason why some people don't remember or are kind of just not thinking about it.
Yeah, it's a very organic thing, and I think what we've observed is that people maybe like change the art little by little. It's not like one day they're like, okay, let me just like redesign everything. They just like might fall in love with one illustration they found, and then that has a very vibrant color that like clashes with something else that they had. So that those are opportunities to change the art around. So someone said, the problem is I need a significantly large piece for my living room to fill a big empty wall, so it's harder to find. Yes, that is actually a common problem. And this is a great opportunity to use our service once it will be live. If you know any investors, send them my way. So the idea is that maybe you have the time, maybe you have great taste, but you have a big empty wall and you don't know how to mount the art. You are probably not aware of how much it costs. And as soon as you start doing your research and trying to find like a poster, you're like, okay, that's too big, and then the frame of that would be triple the cost of.
I know, it's expensive to get things framed.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, so actually, and that's a great point. I'm gonna add that to the design criteria. Part of the things that we realize is that to provide a real gain creator, a real value proposition, we need this to be as seamless as possible. So a person needs to be coming into our app and interacting with it and realize by the end of it that like they wouldn't need to do anything else but just like stuff. So we would frame the art for you.
That's so nice.
Yes. So let's add that we are going to give you the option to change frame. Change and choose.
So Osama is saying, after you sample your surveys, did you at any moment need to run the regression analysis in Excel? And they've been told it's very helpful in predicting data and behavior in research.
I personally don't do that because of like the fact that I use SurveyMonkey. So I'm not an expert. I wouldn't be the right person to answer that. But I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah. I'm not like an expert in Excel, so I don't know how to answer that question either. I'm sorry, but that's a good question.
So, yeah, and then one of the other things that we asked was how often do you move to a different house? Because you might not be the type of person that changes the art, but you might be the type of person that changes house.
Yeah.
Which is a great opportunity for us to just kind of like help you redecorate your home. If you're changing house, it might mean that there's a bigger life change associated with it. So you might, what I saw in interior design is that when that happens, you might actually want to change other things in your living environment. So maybe you got a new job and you're like, okay, I have a better pay now, so I want to like put
Get
something
nicer.
yeah, exactly.
And invest in something.
Yeah. So, okay, good. This is great information. So that's usually what I start with, and then I'll go and create some design criteria. So I think the app needs to be as like elegant and just like make them feel validated and like feel like they've gotten to that point where they can maybe pay for a service that takes care of some of the challenges that they are currently facing.
So we have about 43 minutes left to get your challenge submissions in. So if you have been participating in the XD Daily Creative Challenge and you want some feedback, if you go to behance.net/live, there's a challenge tab and you can get more information on how to submit your designs. And Camille and I will review them and give you feedback in 43 minutes. So if you've been working on the challenges today, please get them submitted. We love looking at them and giving you guys feedback. Even if you're not done with today's challenge and you've done the previous days and you still want some feedback, feel free to submit them and we can give you feedback on the previous days as well.
Yeah. So another thing to think about, and we'll get more in detail of this maybe tomorrow when we start thinking of like the colors and the design, is what do we want the tone and the identity to be. The reason I'll touch a little bit on it today is because the user experience also has to do with like content strategy, so we need to understand what tone we're using.
Yeah.
So we spoke of this app being elegant, but is it serious? So personally, I don't envision it as serious. And one of the questions we had was like the audience segment, how old they are, and what type of words they associate themselves with. So serious wasn't one of them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go with something maybe more like quirky or playful.
Yeah. And I think it's helpful to use these words to describe the brand, because like we were saying, that it can be intimidating walking into an art gallery or something, and you want this app to be kind of opposite of that and reduce that barrier to entry for people getting art into their homes. So I think that's really important that you're identifying that.
Yeah, so I'm actually adding welcoming and cozy. We definitely want people to feel like they're creating a home and not just like playing and like decorating someone else's house.
Yeah.
So those are things to consider. So quirky, playful, welcoming and cozy. And I think there's also a great opportunity, since we have creation as one of the desired experiences, for it to be just a little like colorful or like have maybe different styles, so that people can identify with their own style.
Yeah.
So colorful, and I'm gonna go with eclectic.
Ooh, these are great words.
So that maybe we're not ruling out that person that is maybe a little bit more serious. Great. Okay. So I'm gonna walk a little bit through the user flow that of the screens that I'm going to be creating. So after I do my design criteria, and maybe I'll work on it a little bit more later, but after we get all the research, go through it, read it, find some like key findings, and create our design criteria, that's the moment where you start prototyping and you say like, okay, what will be my low fidelity prototype, and what actions do I need users to take so that they understand my product. So one of the things this app requires is for people to understand what we're offering. It's not an easy thing to convey, I feel. So we might require a few introductory copy screens of like, hey, this is what we do, and so that people are convinced to like keep on exploring, because it's not immediate. Yeah. So we'll start with a welcome splash screen. Maybe provide an opportunity to like personalize the welcome screen. So the reason I added that is because I would say, I didn't write it here, but one of the design criteria is that this needs to be like a very personal space. So as much as we can, one second, it needs to feel it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, so would this app be kind of personalized for the artist and the person buying as well?
Yes, so actually that's a great point. I'll be exploring more the person buying. I think it would be amazing, since like our company purpose is really to help emerging artists, to also create an opportunity for the artists themselves to like kind of like curate their own space. So that's a great point. Like I'm gonna add that in.
Yeah, I think that could be great too, and it would be interesting to see the different flow and kind of what the welcome screens would look like for the different customers.
Yeah.
So the different audience groups. So I think that would be something cool to add.
Yeah, so for artists, ability to create.
And I think it's awesome that your product is going to help artists and people buying it and kind of bring them together.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So actually that brings a good point, which I'm going to add here, is that these need to have, give the user the opportunity to identify either as an artist or as a buyer. And obviously, well, I'm gonna call it buyer in quotation marks because you're not actually buying.
Oh yeah, I just realized that.
Obviously, this is like super lo-fi. I like to use a horizontal line to say either or, and a vertical line to just relate different things that need to be part of one same flow.
Ooh.
So we'll have a personalized welcome. Maybe they choose between like artist or buyer. Then we explain what we call the value proposition. So what is it that this person will be getting from this app, how it works, maybe a few details, not too many, so that people don't get
like
bored.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. And then a prompt to just create the account. So ideally, our first introduction is just this like very easy way in, almost thinking of it as a retail space. So a person coming into the store and just understanding the brand, understanding what they do, and then that's when the real door opens for them to like really create their profile, rather than just like being led straight to creating a profile. And that might be a drop-off point, because if you don't fully understand why you're doing this, then you might not do it.
Yeah, and creating a profile can take some time, and there's a lot of steps and a lot of information you have to enter. And for me, if I download an app and like the first thing they say is enter your information and sign up, if I don't know about the app, then I'm probably not going to do that, and I'll probably never open the app again.
Yes, that is very, very common in UX people, just like immediately having a fear, because like you don't know them, and it's like a privacy thing.
Exactly, and they ask like personal information.
Yeah.
Do I trust you? I don't know what your app is, and I don't know if I really want this app. So I think it's important that you mentioned that.
I think that's something we can add. So we can add that needs to provide, like needs to feel trustworthy. So how do you do that? That's like hard.
Yeah.
Obviously, when we're thinking of this, we're not only thinking of the product. There's obviously marketing involved.
Yeah.
There would be a really big marketing strategy, and that's part of what we need to define in our business plan. So the idea is that the person that comes into this app comes with a little bit of understanding of what the company does. Maybe a friend told them about it. Maybe they saw an article about it. But a good way to give people the feeling of trust in UX and websites is always testimonials and quotes.
Yeah.
So maybe this is an opportunity for us to provide a quote. Maybe we can add it here. So as we're explaining what it is that the Nouveau does, maybe we add a testimonial and quote.
I always like seeing that. It helps me gain more trust in the product.
Yeah.
If I know that someone else has used it and they've had a good experience, then I'm like, okay, I'll probably have a good experience.
Yeah. So then we have the account creation. So once they like understand the product, they can create their profile. So obviously, they enter their email. They have to create their password and everything. So actually, we had the "Are you a buyer, artist, or curator?" here. What do you feel like that should be earlier on, or when you're creating your profile?
That's a good question. I feel like you could have it both parts, but I don't know. Do you guys have a preference of where, if you were to download this app, where would you want to identify as an artist or a buyer? Would you want to do it at the beginning or once you're at like the account creation? Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know. And I think this is a great opportunity to say that one of the great values of XD, I feel, is that you can like create this low fidelity prototype and just as you're testing it out, maybe you realize one of the two options feels off.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, no, this definitely isn't the place to be asking this.
Yeah.
So
and it's easy to change that right away, and you can do like really quick usability testing and have someone kind of go through the flow. And if you find that, oh, this screen should be over here instead, you can quickly move that around. So it's really nice.
Yeah. So one piece maybe I left out is through research, the few interviews that we did, we realized that some people wanted a curator. They wanted a person to help them. Like they wanted that human connection. And that actually goes hand in hand with some of the secondary research we had done, that we found out that the art dealers are selling more than galleries on their own. People want that like personalized connection with a human that's like selecting for them.
We have a couple people saying account creation. That way the consumer can experience the app first. And then we have in the beginning while having an option in the settings to switch user status.
In the beginning, well. Okay. So let's...
Cool. Thanks for your feedback, guys. And then Norval is saying, I want to walk into the experience as either a buyer or artist, and I agree if I want to switch it, it's an option.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah,
Because then you're not like stuck in one box and you can kind of switch that. So I think it's nice to have that.
Okay, let's add that. I'm gonna add that as a design criteria because I might forget.
I like that you keep going back to this and adding into it because it's a really good reference point, and it can be hard to remember these little different things, and it's really helpful to kind of look back at this tomorrow or the next day and just remember like, oh, these are the things that I want to focus on.
Yeah, sometimes, I don't know if that happens to you, but like I'll be working on a project like for 3 days straight and like everything makes sense and I remember what I thought 2 hours ago and then like I have to switch to another project and for like another week, I just like
and you forget.
leave it and I forget and it takes me like an hour to get back into what was I doing, why was I doing
that
this?
That happens to me too.
Yeah, so the user needs to choose who identifies.
Alexander is asking, is it possible to be on both sides, to supply art but also subscribe and have the other's art brought into your home?
Yes, actually.
That's a good point.
Yes, you could be on both sides. Can also.
Yeah, that would be interesting because if you are an artist, you most likely want to have art in your home.
Yeah.
And you could use this platform to do that as well. So yeah, you bring up a really good point.
That is a great point. So that, for example, just like tells me already that like I can't make it a like either or. It needs to be a select all, select as many as you want. And maybe even like if there's the role of the curator, you might want to do artist and curator.
Yeah, true.
So that's a great point.
Yeah. Albert is saying it would be nice if you can take a picture of where you want the picture in your house. For example, your living room, and then preview the art. That's a really good idea.
No, great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Target app, I think it was Target, but in one of my classes I remember someone showed an app where you can preview furniture or like room decor and like use like AR technology to see how it would look in your home, which is really cool. Oh yeah, Voodoo Val is saying AR could be implemented. Yeah, I think that's so cool because when you're furniture shopping online, you have no idea how it's gonna actually look just from looking at it on a screen. But if AR can help, and it's definitely not like super realistic,
Yeah.
but it can give you a much better idea than like having
Definitely.
it shipped and then you build it. Like I've done that before, and then
Yes.
I'm like, oh, usually it's ended up pretty good. So I haven't had that where I order something and then I spend like 2 hours making it, which can be a tough
Yes,
process. And then it like doesn't go with my apartment or anything.
I
But
feel like you've been lucky because having had interior design clients, they like tell me, no, I have it all figured out. I bought this here and I bought this there. And then like they put it all together and they're like, oh wow, this looks horrible.
oh no, I bet that's like such a bad feeling to have.
But hey, that's why interior designers exist.
Yeah.
Okay, so we added the option to switch at any point. So we'll figure out how we do that with the UI. And then you have your profile details. Once you create your account and who you are, you can continue adding more information about you. Go directly to browse art. One of the reasons I want to like give this option here is because, like we said, some people might still not be convinced that they want to give information or take photos of their house without really knowing what they're going to be getting in return. So they might want to continue exploring. And one of the things that we did as secondary research was go through similar products, not in the art sector, but in the subscription sector.
Ooh.
So I got a subscription to clothing that every month would give me like a box. It's amazing. I love it.
Oh, which one are you using?
I did Le Tote.
Oh, okay.
Have you
I've
heard
heard
of
of it? Yeah, I've never used it or any clothing subscription.
It's
but
really
how was
cool.
it?
I really enjoyed it. I know there's like different options. I identified the most with Le Tote, and again, like that's why like the brand is so important
Yeah.
because like I felt like it reflected me. But what I found incredible, which I didn't expect at all, is I created my account and immediately it allowed me to just like browse clothes
Ooh.
and like them. And I was like, oh, but am I selecting the ones I'm gonna be receiving? And no, it's actually just data collection,
Oh, wow.
which is very smart on their part.
Yeah.
So yeah, like making sure that you're learning from other businesses that
Yeah,
have
that's
similar
good.
offerings. Yeah.
Would you say the clothes that you kind of liked or looked at was the clothes that you received? Was it kind of like your style, or do you think they got it right? Or
It took a while. So basically the way they did it is that you first explore, and I thought the feature was great, but it's not like I spent hours liking stuff, so maybe
Yeah.
I didn't do as much on my part as I should have. But then they gave you a selection of like 5 items, which is something I would like to do here. So like give you a selection and then you can swap them and say like, actually
Ooh,
this
I
one,
like, I like this or I don't like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Exactly. So that way it learns. By like month 3, it knew me perfectly. I was
Nice.
like, that's my style.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's great. But I think for yours, or I don't know, for any other app, it would be amazing if it just like knew right away.
Yeah.
It's also kind of scary to think about that an app would know you so well. But I think it's like technology is evolving and it's kind
Yeah.
of scary, but also really cool and helpful.
Well, I wonder like if there's any way, maybe like when you're creating your account, if you can link it to like other social media.
Yeah.
So like other things, like if you like certain things in other social
It'll,
media,
like, know.
automatically will
that
like.
would be cool.
Okay, so let's add that somewhere, guys.
So GK is asking a question. If you have a core design idea and you make a survey asking about this and the results are not so good, what should you do?
Okay. Wow, that's a hard
Yeah.
question. So keep in mind that I think it was Henry Ford that said if you had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses.
Oh, I've heard that.
Yeah. And it's hard, like research only can go to a certain extent. Like you can't really ask your user to give you the answers because if they had the answers, maybe someone else would have come up with
Yeah.
your product already. So what to do when you have a core design idea and it maybe isn't resonating, I would do some more research. So use the opportunity to talk to people and just maybe try and choose people that specifically said they didn't like it and chat with them and tell them what is it that you don't like. And I actually did this with the survey here, I had a person that, like, at the end, I had a question like, do you want information about this service when it launches? And like this person said no, so I talked to them and I was like, okay, tell me more. Why wouldn't you want it?
Yeah.
And this person told me they wouldn't want it because they didn't want someone else choosing the art for them.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, so like if you didn't have the curator, would you want that? And she said, well, then I would lose the opportunity to like have that service provided for me. And her fear, as I started like digging, that's why I say like you need to like listen and just be patient, let them speak, be comfortable with awkward silences. People like after a few 3 seconds of awkward silences, people will continue talking. So what I eventually got to is that it was really important for this person to be for her to choose the curator and not the other way around. So she didn't want to be assigned a curator. She wanted to be able to see the style of the curator and then pick that person based on their profile. So it's kind of like dating, like
Kind of.
yeah, like finding that perfect
Interior
person.
design,
So like that means that our curator needs to have a bio. They need to have maybe link to their social media.
Like maybe a portfolio of how they've curated art in the past, so the buyer or person wanting them to curate art for them knows kind of what to expect from this person.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm adding here social media for link to social media for data collection, if possible, to the part where you're creating your account. And then I'm going to add here, if we get to it, for the curator to have to express themselves through their profile. So bio, social media, photos, past portfolio, like you said.
Well, welcome, Amanya. They just stumbled upon the stream. Yay! From Kampala, Uganda.
Wow,
Yay, that's so
amazing.
cool. Thank you for joining us. So we have about 21 minutes left until we review the design challenge submissions for today. So if you've been working on it, finish those designs up so Camille and I can review them and give you some feedback.
Yeah.
And today's challenge topic is subscribe and save. So it's kind of similar to what Camille has been working on. So it's kind of cool.
Yes.
What a coincidence.
We didn't plan it.
Yeah,
we
this was
promise.
not planned. But yeah, so if you guys have been working on that on XD, be sure to submit that for us to review. We would love to give you some feedback. Even if you're a beginner, don't be afraid. I think feedback is such a great way to learn and grow as a designer, especially if you're like just starting out. So, yeah.
Yeah, actually, and that's a little bit like what I've been talking about. The research portion of design is so, so important. Yeah. We had someone ask, what do you do if you find out that your product is like not what, like people don't resonate or appreciate it as much? Think of it as like constructive criticism. So like dig deeper to find opportunities to make it better. I actually, one of the designers I work with, he said this thing to me that really meant, I felt really identified with it, is that a designer should know that the first version of their design is always the worst version of their design. So if you frame it like that and you just say like, okay, I put a lot of effort into this, but from here, it's just the most solid foundation for it to get better.
Yeah, it can only get better from here.
So, yeah, just like always think of the feedback that you get as an opportunity to make your work better. And it's the same thing with a business idea. Just obviously you have to like be true to yourself, and sometimes like maybe today we'll review some things and we give you feedback and you're like, okay, that doesn't really work for me. So that's also an opportunity, but just don't be stubborn and and learn from what you get, the feedback you get. So once you've created your profile and have the option to browse art, browse artists, or match with your curator, you can, if you continue creating your profile details, you can provide information about your house, your room, the living situation, like who you live with. Like we saw in the survey, some people like needed to to share the house with someone.
Get an approval.
Yeah, so maybe you
from
get
the
an
housemates.
approval. Sometimes, like, also one thing to consider is, which we learned from research, you might live with kids. And that might be scary to say, like, oh, I'm renting art and I have children.
Oh, wow, I just thought of that now as you said it.
Yeah. So, well, on the business side, you'll be happy to know we're doing a lot of research on insurance, so that you would be covered. But
that's smart.
Yeah. But maybe we wouldn't give you the most expensive piece out there if you have a kid. But hey, like, maybe we do. Hopefully we do. That the whole point of this is to provide a service that, like, everyone can, like, really enjoy. And then after you create your profile, what we'll do is start providing users with options between this or that. So, like, just like, which one do you like the most? And then eventually get to one final painting, which obviously doesn't mean that you're stuck with that painting. Just for us to understand if we're in the right direction and provide you better recommendations on the art that we showed to you first.
I like that idea. To me, it kind of feels like a game almost, like looking at art and like, oh, I like this, or I like this. Yeah. And these are the words I like, and I want my home to feel like these words. I think that's a really great way to collect that data, but for the user, it probably doesn't feel like that. It feels kind of like, this is what I like, and this is what I want. So I think that's a really great way of putting that.
And think of the fact when, like, as a UX designer, it's really important to look for opportunities to create signature experiences. So I don't know if that's a term that some of you know, but how I learned it is that there's opportunities for people to really associate your brand with a specific action or a specific feature. So the perfect example of a signature experience is Tinder's swipe. And this is an opportunity for you as a designer, well, for us as designers, to really be providing a different look to your UI that, like, maybe people will associate with your brand. And that's also, like, that can be tied to marketing. Maybe, like, you create a poster that looks like your UI, so you have this or that, and just kind of, like, get people to understand what your service is with just one signature experience.
I've never heard signature experience before, but I like it.
Yeah, and it doesn't like, obviously most of you are probably UX designers, but if you ever have the opportunity to, like, work in omnichannel spaces, like if you're doing, like, exhibition design or something in a museum, or it can also be something physical. It can be, there's a lot of signature experiences out there. Once you, like, identify the term, you start realizing that, like, maybe people put, like, a red ribbon around, like, a box that they give you at a shop, and you're like, oh, that's their signature experience.
Yeah, nice. Albert has a really good question. So if the user would say no in this selection phase, would they be able to elaborate, like, no, I don't like the color, or no, I prefer nature views, or would that be something that would happen in the free word association?
That's a really good point. So the way I originally thought of it is that if I show you a painting and you said, okay, no, that doesn't represent me at all, then you would say no, and then, or if you're unsure, you would have a list of terms, and then you select the terms that you consider are more representative of who you are. But I would love to explore maybe, like, another way. I don't know.
I think if you were able to say the reasons why, I think a better, like, user experience would be to have some options available, because for me, I wouldn't want to type in why, because the app might not understand what I'm typing, and whatever I'm typing might not, like, change the next art that comes up, or I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no.
Like, after, if you've ever used Lyft or Uber, they have, like, when you rate the driver, it says, like, what did you like, or what can be improved, and they give you options. So I think that's a great way, because it's, like, really fast, and I don't want to spend a lot of time doing that as a user. I kind of want to just do I like this. They were fun and, you know, whatever. And it's like really simple. So I think maybe incorporating something like that, like a really fast feedback of, oh, I like this because of this, or
So I'll put fast feedback. So some way of like choosing, if it's not a word association, maybe choosing like, I don't know, subject of the painting, like maybe you're more into like nature. So that could be an option. I think it's also important for like you're saying, like we're thinking of like the way we would interact with this app, but I know people, and it's not me, but like that love giving feedback. They love being that person that like sits down and writes like 7 lines of like why this experience wasn't great.
That is not me either. But you are not your user, which is a great thing to keep in mind.
So I'm going to add the option here to just give more feedback, just in case there is that one person that like says, listen,
you
like,
could have both options. That's a really important thing to add. So then everyone feels included.
Yeah, perfect. And this is why like we go through this user flow first before we start designing, and obviously we'll add things as we start designing as well. And it's always good to do it with someone else. So I really recommend, if you have the opportunity to be designing with a team and like can be talking about this user flow as a group, it's always like a good idea, because you start realizing how people are imagining the interface. Because you're obviously imagining it a certain way, but that's not how other people imagine it.
It's not the only way, and
I
I think it's helpful to have someone else there and kind of help you.
And then you would have just a thank you message, always very important to be polite.
I like when like apps or websites do that. It adds a nice touch, and it's kind of more human and not so robotic, and I don't know, I like a nicer like thank you.
I think honestly, like, not to get too philosophical, but I think it's important for us as UX designers to think of how technology is changing the way we interact with others and with computers, and maybe in the future with robots, I don't know. But like, if we don't train ourselves to be polite, we might actually forget to just do it. So like, I'm the person that like says thank you to like Google Home.
Me too, or like Siri. I'll say thank you.
Thank you. And I went to this great conference at Adobe Max last year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and it was about like voice interactions, and they mentioned that there's certain apps and certain like apps that are like helping kids ask. So you have to ask please or thank you for Siri to give you what you want.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's like
that.
training people
That's
through
awesome.
technology. Yeah.
Nice.
So, like we said, someone mentioned having the option to scan your room, select what wall you think the art should be on. I'm actually going to add here, because Melody mentioned this earlier, are you able to put nails on the wall? So,
yeah. When I moved into my first apartment by myself, I wasn't ready, or I didn't know that you couldn't damage the wall, or not damage, but like put thumbtacks, because some apartment complexes can be very particular. So that's like something like not people. I got this like sticky like goo. I don't know what it's called, but it's like poster adhesive, I guess. I use that, or there's command strips that I would use. And I also got these hooks that were command strips, so I use the hooks for like a dish towel or something. But yeah, it's like things that you don't really think about, but I guess it depends on where you move, and some places might have restrictions, or especially if you're renting, it can be like, don't do anything, or you have to pay. Like, you won't get your deposit back if you find these holes in your wall or something. I don't know.
And like that, I'll just say that's why it's so important to do your research and like do the user journey, because your product might have nothing to do with the fact that your landlord maybe doesn't like it, that you put nails on the walls. But if you don't think of that, and if you don't do your research, you won't get to know that that's something that you need to offer. And that might be like the tiny little detail that like makes it or breaks it, you know?
And maybe there's other restrictions that people have as well that I haven't experienced, so I don't know. But maybe if someone in the chat has lived somewhere and there's restrictions on how to decorate, I don't know.
Well, you know what was really interesting when I was talking to a person that does collect art, and they told me that they love the idea, but one of the problems that they have is with this concept is that after 6 months, there might be a trace left around the painting. So then if you're trading the art, then you would need to always go bigger so that you don't see that. So one of the things I realized, I hadn't thought of that at all. So one of the things I realized is that either we always need to make the art bigger. So maybe size restrictions are something that we need to consider. Or when we're mounting the art, we need to make sure that we like partner with a company that like maybe has some products to like clean the walls and things like that. So that we really provide that achievement experience that people like just feel like they don't need to worry about the little details.
Nice. So Albert is saying some limitations would be wall construction, what you can put up, etc. Yeah, I didn't think about like what's the material of your wall, and if it's like concrete or something, that can also be difficult to put something on that type of wall.
Material of the wall. And one thing I'll do because we obviously have this wonderful research of having you guys give us answers right away, but that's not always the case. Sometimes what happens is that as you're doing your first prototype, you start realizing you need to go back to research, and because you start having more questions. So I like to just have on the design document some questions that I would ask in my next round of interviews. So back to research, I would ask what limitations one has with the wall.
Ghafari is asking, can I submit my design with just one screen? I spent the entire hour on it. Yes, definitely. Even if it's just one screen, please submit it. I would love to see it. Camille would love to see it as well. So even if you haven't completed it and it's like halfway done, you can definitely still submit that for feedback and finish it up and possibly ask for feedback on what you finished tomorrow during tomorrow's stream. So.
Yeah. Rapid prototyping. Sometimes you don't get to where you want to be at the time. And the earlier you get feedback, the better.
Exactly. And Erica's saying bricks would definitely be harder. And I didn't even think about a brick wall.
Yeah.
That's like something I want in my dream future apartment is to have a brick wall.
Yes. So there are ways around it. So yes, that would definitely be something that we would need to consider. And the weight of the art is something we need to consider. So this is great. This is why I love my job. Just like going through like this and just realizing how to make it better. And then by the end of the selection of your art and wall and everything about you would then proceed to payment method. I put here that we would put like an alert to let you know that you don't actually need to submit your payment information until you finalize the request to have art come into your house. Because like people get scared that they're like, okay, why am I putting my information if I haven't actually selected the art that I'm gonna be getting? So it's always good to just have like those like alert modals or like something just informing people that like, hey, we're not taking money from you.
I know, I always get scared that they'll charge me but it's not like charging you yet. So I think it's good to have that reassurance, especially when the user gets to that final stage and they're like, oh, I'm committing to this subscription service. And that can be hard for users to complete that cycle of subscribing. And so I think it's really important to have reassurance and things like that.
And user experiences are like really important to a business because like if you fail at like providing that trust and like thinking of those details, like you said, like you will probably never come back.
Yeah.
And it's a shame and something you need to consider when you're doing your business strategy. Like not everyone that will come to your app will actually create the profile, and that's something that I recommend just keeping an eye out if you like created a prototype or the first iteration of a product and you're seeing a lot of people come in but very little people actually go through, then you might need to rethink your user flow.
Yeah, that's true.
So we have 4 minutes, well, 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and a
3
half.
minutes left to get your design submissions in.
Great. So before that, I'll just say that we were giving users the option to provide their profile details or browse artists, or match with curator. In the user flow, the art exploration would have just visual of art, and the reason we're going with more visual rather than information is because beauty was one of the desired experiences. And then if they want to dig deeper and they like a certain painting, they can read more about the artist, they can like it, and they can specifically request that art for their box subscription. And for the artist, they can browse different artists and go to a detail page, have information about their bio, and just a link to all of the artwork that they've created. In the bio, one of the things we want to add is their influences. So we spoke earlier on about how part of the mission of this product is to help people be more informed about art investment and art decisions, and the way we get people to know more is just by giving them more information. So if we could have on an artist's page their influences, what type of art this is, people start recognizing certain terms, and that's what we ultimately want, that like you use our subscription maybe for 2 years, 3 years, and then in 3 years you're like free and like knowledgeable enough to like actually buy an investment piece.
Yeah, I think maybe like a mood board type of page would be good for their influences.
Yeah.
Kind of like Pinterest or something. You can kind of grab art or designs or colors or anything that you like that kind of resembles the art that you're into. I think that would be kind of cool to have.
And like we said, we would have also a page for curators, so you could browse all curators. You could have a selection of curators recommended for you based on the topics and
Ooh, I like that.
and the words that you felt felt were representative of you. And then you could see their detail page with some like bio, again, some mood board, and then you could chat with them and just start that conversation.
So we have 40 seconds left. Even if you aren't on day 6, like Gus is saying in the chat, you can still submit whatever you have worked on for the XD daily challenges, and we can still review them and give you feedback. So you can submit that on the challenge tab on behance.net/live. So get those in. We have like 20 seconds left.
Yay!
Yay.
Meanwhile, we'll just stand in silence. Meditation time, guys. Start getting ready to do our splash screen.
Ooh. So what kind of ideas do you have for the splash screen so far?
I don't know. I think it should just be very like welcoming, just very calm and cozy, not scare people away.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely don't want to scare people away with the welcome screen.
Yeah.
Yay. So it is time, but unfortunately we don't have any submissions for our stream, which is okay. I understand.
That's
It can be
It happens.
intimidating, or you might still be working on the challenges, and I know they can take some time, so that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, we can kind of continue working on. We can start on the splash screen, or
Yeah.
if you want to I don't know if you finished what you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no, I did. Ah, that's such a shame, guys.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sad. But it's okay. You guys can submit them tomorrow, or if you come back on Thursday, which you should, we're going to be doing portfolio reviews from your Behance profile. So definitely come back then tomorrow or Thursday, and we can give you that feedback.
So we have a question that's actually really interesting. So if you would make something welcoming, which means different things for different people, how would you incorporate that? That comes with, again, just your personas. So I would go back to understanding who your personas are, if possible, and you have a real person that represents each persona. Maybe you create your screen and then just like do a prototype of it and then share it with them and have them just like give you feedback and criticism on what works and what doesn't work, because it's good to see the opportunities and also like the challenges of what's happening. So I think I would, it's like, this is very basic, but I'm just gonna start with welcome. Welcome. I think maybe a person should be able to like write their name. So welcome to Nouveau.
So would this screen be the first time they download the app, or would this be if they've already downloaded and have an account and they're just signing back in?
It would be the first time they have they like encounter the app.
So my question is, how would the app already know my name?
No, you have to.
You have to enter it
Yes,
in? Okay,
yes.
okay, because I was like, if I downloaded an app and it already knew my name, I would delete it right away. Because I would be like,
Wizardry.
yeah.
So just probably ask the user to enter name here. We're gonna and so this is crazy, but one of the things I was thinking of when I was like already preparing for this splash screen is we talked about like the current situation and the fact that a lot of people end up having empty walls because of this, of the fact that they don't know who to go to.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like, I'm gonna make like this like drawing, which is not really a drawing, but just, I think it would be great to have like some image or something in the background that like hints to like some like shadow of a window or something that feels like a wall.
That'd be cool.
And maybe like that's just a hint for people to like see that this is something for the house.
Yeah.
I don't know how we get to it. I don't know if it's a photo or maybe like when we're designing we create a nice pattern, but yeah, we could have that.
So Osama was saying Art Swap is an amazing suggestion. So I've never heard of Art Swap, but I wonder if that's an app or a website. But I think you can, I guess, swap art with people.
Swap. Okay.
Yeah, if anyone's used it, or maybe Osama or Albert, can you let us know what Art Swap is? I'm interested in that. Maybe that's something that you can use.
Yeah. I'm gonna add it as a potential competitor.
Yeah.
Or partner. I don't know.
Yeah, Osama's saying maybe as a feature when the app has traffic so that people can find more options that fit their places.
Okay. Okay, so then I actually created some like text files with what the splash screen should say. I don't know how this works.
Oh, so Art Swap is an idea for the app where people can swap art amongst themselves, and it's not currently an idea or an existing thing. Thank you for clearing that up. But I think that's a good idea. Maybe people can have like an art meetup like once a month or something in your area, and you can bring in art that you are like, maybe you're done with having that art piece in your home and you want to trade it with someone else, and maybe that person might like your art piece or something. I think that's a really good idea.
So I'm adding it as other features, and then like maybe we can see if like we can add it after you've created your account.
Yeah.
Like maybe there can be like events around you and events around you. And maybe it's even like an opportunity for art galleries to promote their own, like, so that they don't need to be closing.
I know. I think maybe this app can bring more traffic into art galleries and kind of bring people into physical spaces because I feel like now, as technology is evolving, people are just buying things online and they're not going into stores anymore, and a lot of stores are closing, and it's kind of sad. But yeah, I think this could be cool. Like, you can have an art meetup at an art gallery or something, for example.
Great. So I originally had here Meet Nouveau, and so instead of Welcome to Nouveau, it would be Welcome whatever name. Meet Nouveau.
So Michelle wants to know if your project will be shared to take a look at the flow diagrams once you're done the project.
Sure.
Yeah, I think you should share it on Behance or something once you're done. And everyone in the chat should go follow Camille.
So I'm gonna create a group of this so that it doesn't bother me, and I'm gonna lock it. It's just a reference to later on to some sort of pattern. So we had the intro. Okay, welcome to your own private gallery. I'm getting this all wrong. So, welcome to your own private gallery. And then the person would write their name. Let's say Melody.
Erica's saying that her, Camille, and John will mass post on Behance with all your projects.
Yes.
Yay. I can't wait to see all of them once the streams are over.
Yeah.
Yay.
So once Melody has put her name, we can explain what Nouveau does. So Meet Nouveau, this is the language I have for now, but like if you guys have suggestions, I can always change it. Nouveau is a platform that connects you with artists across the US, offering a curated selection for your home based on your personal taste.
I think that's a really good like intro sentence.
Okay.
Kind of gets the idea across.
So I think what would be great is that you have like this little like painting peeking in. Just as you like interact, maybe like something comes up, and then like this is my frame. And that's where we like start already showing what the product is about without like really without going ahead and like immediately showing millions of different art options. And then maybe what we do is that the person just like needs to continue scrolling, and then this let's rotate this, goes to the top of the screen.
Ooh. Albert is also suggesting an art near you feature based on geographical locations.
Okay.
That's a good idea too.
Yeah. So let's add that.
You guys have some really good ideas in the chat.
Yeah. Art near you. Yeah, I wonder if like we should add like art exploration with like the option to like explore local art.
Oh, yeah. I think that would be a cool feature.
Yeah, and like there's something great about like supporting like the local scene.
I like doing that. It makes me feel happier
Yeah.
knowing that I'm buying art from someone. I don't know, I just feel like a personal connection to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rather than buying something like mass produced, I guess.
Yeah. So.
And maybe this could be a way for if people don't know how to find local art, like for me or any art galleries, I don't really know, I don't have a place to go to find art galleries. I guess I could Google search, but
Yeah.
maybe I would feel like I would trust the suggestions from this app or an app that's kind of centered around art more. So it can also be a cool way to learn about
Yeah,
that as
definitely.
well.
I'll put galleries around you as well. So then, okay, so we said Meet Nouveau is a platform that does all of these things. Then it's, at this point, it might still be unclear how it works. So I would just write a little bit more of the details of how it works. So Nouveau will connect you with your own personal curator, will select the artist, find the artwork, frame and mount the art for you. Nouveau is here to make your home more uniquely yours, empower artists, and enlighten you to become the art connoisseur you never knew could be.
I like that. That makes me want to try this product.
Yes. Hopefully you'll be able to try it in a few months.
Yeah.
Okay, so by now the person probably understands what this is. I'll go check my user flow and see if I'm missing a screen. So how it works, the details. Oh, we spoke about the testimonial. So maybe what we do here, where am I? Is we have a nice little testimonial.
So Albert, this stream will last 3 days. So today is kind of like the first introduction day of the project that Camille is working on. And then tomorrow it'll evolve. And maybe you can talk about that as we get towards the end of the stream, kind of what you'll work on the next few days. I mentioned day 6 earlier because it's day 6 of the XD Daily Creative Challenge, which is something that's also happening. It started 6 days ago. So, and you can find out information about that on behance.net/daily creative challenge, and you can get all the information on the different challenges for each day and get templates to help you get started or view Howard's videos. So yeah, and there's 9 days total, I believe, for the challenge. So there's 3 more days.
So obviously by now I would love to have real quotes, but I don't. So Nouveau made my life so much easier. I didn't even know where to begin. And finally, my home, my house feels like home.
Yay.
And then we could write that this was said by Sam H. So this can be like a nice little. And then obviously people can either click somewhere else or they can use like some sort of icon to close it. Maybe this is an opportunity to like lead users to like more success stories.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can like create a community. So
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Albert has some great copy ideas.
Oh,
Nouveau, a window to the world. Or Nouveau, the right frame of mind.
Oh my God, Albert.
Those are awesome ideas.
I love it. Okay. Let's go for that.
Yeah.
Where should I put it? Maybe Nouveau.
Maybe, yeah, like
Well, is a new, the right frame
the
of
right
mind?
frame of mind.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we had testimonials. What else did we have up here? And then prompt to create an account. Okay, so one thing that I'm missing here is we haven't asked the person if they're an artist or a curator.
Yeah.
And we also haven't asked a person if they already had an account. So maybe I'm going to add a little login button at the top in case a person does have an account. And obviously this is super low fidelity, but like with wireframes, things just like underlining it makes it easy to understand that it's a link that people can click on. So as far as asking people whether they're an artist or not, this is after they interacted with this testimonial. Maybe this is when we ask.
Yeah, I think because the first few screens kind of introduce them to the app and get them familiar with how it works and everything, and then they can feel more comfortable selecting.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So are you, I don't know how to write this.
Are you
a buyer?
a buyer or an artist?
I wonder, okay, so this is a good point. Should it be more, instead of the language being focused on you, at this point, because we're going to start creating the account, maybe it's more like, I am interested in buying art.
Ooh, yeah.
Or, okay. So
That's true.
Oh, I'm an artist looking to sell my work, and then I'm a curator.
Ooh, Albert has another awesome suggestion. Would you actually buy the art if you get it in your home? And if so, could you make participating in the app like a give back to the world? For example, buy art and support a gallery. So a part of the purchase amount goes to art galleries and such.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I definitely think if you've had the art at home for like 6 months, there is a chance that you like got attached to it
Yeah.
and you just want to keep it. So what we were thinking as far as pricing is at that point, then maybe we give you a discount on the full price of the art.
Yeah.
So that's a note that I'll make. Obviously, I might not have the time during these 3 days to like show how like you would interact with it in the future. This is more like the onboarding.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely add that.
Yeah, that's a good idea for the future, and kind of like try before you buy. And I like the idea of giving a discount after you've had it for 6 months because you've already invested the time and the money for the subscription. So if it was me and I had it for 6 months and then I had to pay full price to buy it, I probably wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
Or I would feel like I kind of got like, I don't know, not the best deal
Yeah.
for that.
So I'm zooming in here a little bit. So I'll make sure that we have a space for like your account. So after you did create your account, you have the option to keep the art. And then like then you would go to like your
the next.
yeah, and then maybe donate to the art community, like you said.
Yeah, that's an awesome idea.
Yeah, and you can like also like maybe like keep track of like maybe it can be like some sort of model where like you're helping a specific artist.
Yeah.
So I'm going to artist. Cool, that's a great idea. I love it. Thank you all. So, here the person would choose what kind of user they are.
You could also use repeat grid to
Oh, yes.
kind of drag. You can and
Thank
then
you.
choose the spacing just to make things a little easier.
Yes. See, that's why
Yeah.
you're here.
Yay.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna make this smaller. Not that it matters when you're doing wireframes, honestly.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, I think the most important thing with wireframes is just getting your ideas and the overall idea of the content that you want on the screen.
So we spoke about earlier the fact that people might want to select more than one. So I'm going to add select all that apply. And then I'll do these as check boxes. This is not the prettier.
It's a
prettiest
fancy little
icon.
check.
You get the idea. And then you can select as many as you want. Great. How much time have I got
So we're
left?
actually about time to wrap up for today's stream. So maybe if you want to talk a little bit about what you're going to be working on tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. So the idea is tomorrow, obviously I showed you all the research, so we can go straight to creating the wireframes for the account creation. So all of these sections about your profile, uploading a photo of the room you're interested in and all of that information, and then browsing the art. Probably we'll do that in the first half, and then towards the end we'll start getting into style tiles and the mood board and what colors to use, what font to use, and start creating an identity for it. And then, the final day we can just like make everything more like well refined and designed, and also start going through the designs and start checking with our design criteria to make sure that it actually makes sense with the research that we had.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, and I can't wait to see where this project goes. Thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us and giving awesome ideas for Camille to use on her project. We really appreciate it. Definitely tune in tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Howard will kick things off with his daily creative challenge video, and then we'll have an awesome day of streams. And Camille and I will be back at 1 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, and we would love to see you there. So yeah, definitely tune back tomorrow, and we'll see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Great, good job. Good job, man.
Thank you. There was like 10 minutes where no one said anything in
I
the
know.
chat, and I was like, is this frozen?